Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Excessive Pop Culture Discussion. This is our unscripted pop culture show where we get around and we talk about all of the most important pop culture headlines that happened this week that don't involve the president or politics. I'm always joined by, I'm theoretically always joined by a rotating cast. It's mostly Maggie and some other dude.
It's me again.
It's been mostly Soren and always Maggie, and now it's those two again. Thank you both for joining me. Maggie May Fish, thanks for joining me.
Anytime.
Soren Bowie, thanks for joining me. We're going to talk about things that happened in pop culture this week, including KFC and space and the new Hugh Jackman circus movie. And then we're going to break form a little bit and talk about the 10 most iconic comedic performances in movie history. And we're going to hopefully agree.
That's the first time I've seen you struggle to remember something.
Yeah.
I'm having a really
checked your mind and read it out of some place inside of you.
Yeah. I have to. I check in with a smaller Daniel who's in my brain, who is punching my brain, saying "stupid, stupid, stupid," and that's how I. That's the process that goes into every word that I form.
I want to hang out with that Daniel.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's so cool. No. But welcome. Today we're going to break format a little bit and talk about the 10 greatest comedic performances of all time. We all have our different lists and we've not shared them with each other, and we're going to argue about that. But before that, let's get into This Week in Headlines.
This week in
Nope.
It had the headlines.
We actually have, you guys, I would really appreciate it if you watch the show. We have a whole graphic and song
Okay, but we have another one we would like to pitch. Ready? And? Never mind.
Yeah, well that certainly paid off. Maggie, what's your headline for me this week?
Okay, so my headline is Lindsay Lohan is starting a new beauty blog. It is called Premium with 2 E's. Premium.
Where?
Online, and you too.
Sorry, where's the second E?
Oh, that's right after the first. So it's premium.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And you too can see all of her posts for the low price of $2.99 a month.
Oh, it's behind a paywall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not even Goop was brave enough to do it behind a paywall.
Oh, no, not at all. So I just want to read this quick quote about what will be on Premium. Because it's, what would be there.
You're not pronouncing it right.
Am I not?
Premium.
Premium. You will get personal diaries, video updates, exclusive personal photos, breaking news, fashion and beauty tutorials, shopping guides, behind-the-scenes content, and much, much more.
My eyes just glazed over, as you were saying them. I started to think, I wonder if maybe she tried to get premium.com, just like premium, and realized that somebody was just squatting on that, and she was like, F***. All right, 2 E's. Yeah. I don't know.
The human in me, my heart breaks. The bully in me.
Oh.
Immediately, when she's talking about, for $2.99, you can get behind-the-scenes content. Behind the scenes of what, Lindsay?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Oh, well, let me tell you, because currently there are 9 posts right now. Okay, there's a 30-second video from an iPhone of her in a dress spinning. There are 7 selfies, and 1 selfie of her in a headscarf.
Her head's cut off?
Headscarf.
Scarf.
Oh.
I mean, that would be way more interesting. I wish.
If the story was Lindsay Lohan cut her head off and made a blog about it,
I would have
that would have been the headline.
I agree. I think it's kind of sad to watch this person who was in Mean Girls, one of the, funniest movies of however long ago that came out, to now be doing some sort of beauty blog.
Yeah, well, it breaks my heart. Anytime a Lindsay Lohan type or a Britney Spears or an Amanda Bynes type, someone that we as society made grow up too soon, and then we either slut-shamed or just normal shamed, just hated them. Anytime they go away for a while, my hope is that they are straightening their lives out, that they're going to spin this around and become healthy. So when Lindsay Lohan goes away for several months and then comes back and she's like, I'm doing a lifestyle blog now. It's like Goop. Everyone liked Goop, right? And it's like, oh no, she's not better. Like anytime she goes away, I want her to get better.
Right. The hero story is that they go off into the desert for a while, and like then they come to terms with who they are, and they realize it, and then they come back to the Citadel or like the city.
Right.
And like now you're back in culture, and like now you're more prepared to deal with people like us.
And she's not. She hasn't gone. She hasn't done the Angelina Jolie. I used to wear my brother's blood around my neck, but now I'm like a mother, and I'm good. Lindsay Lohan is not there yet.
No,
She's
not at all.
Still crazy, and that's upsetting and heartbreaking to me.
And a couple things. So I was like, oh, what has she been doing? Has she been in the desert? No. Here are some things she's been doing. Let's see. In 2009, she called the NYPD because she left her phone in a deli.
What did you call them on then?
Dan, asking
different phone.
Different phone. Probably. No, fine. That is a very valid question.
Yeah, but certainly not one for Maggie. Maggie wasn't the detective working that case.
Oh, I wish I had been that detective. Another thing that she did, she filed a $100 million suit against E-Trade because they had a baby named Lindsay in their commercial.
You can't do that.
She did it, and also she claims.
Wait, the baby in the E-Trade commercials is a girl?
I think there's a couple different ones. I think the main one's a boy.
The main one's a boy. Pete Holmes voiced the E-Trade baby for a number of years, and then apparently there's been a girl one, and it's named Lindsay.
And apparently.
Was it a
worthy
drunken
of lawsuit
of a baby? Because then she has grounds, I think.
The one last thing that she claims to have written a treatment for Mean Girls 2. Which she claims to have.
Oh, buddy.
Which I would pay such good money.
Does she have the rights to? You're not the person again. Ask this question.
Well, let me dive into.
How did she call the cops, and does she have the rights to Mean Girls? These are the things that we need to know.
I'll subscribe to her Lifetime blog, and then we'll find out.
I would love that.
She has to talk about this stuff, right?
Right. So there was a movie that she made called The Canyons.
Bret
or
Easton
The
Ellis.
Canyon.
Yeah.
And there's a whole horror story about what that movie was like and shooting with her. Like the director was really insistent that it be her, but then she was, again, not ready to come out of the desert yet, and she was a mess on set, and like to the point where they had to shoot a nude scene with her, and she refused to do it and went into a closet for a while, and the director had to strip down naked to film it, and he's like 70, and there's all these like long stories about everything that had happened on that set, and if I would have had behind the scenes for that. I would have paid more money than she's asking for. So she's doing another movie. I might be on board.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think she's putting the wrong stuff. Like, put that on the website. I'd subscribe. I don't want to know about the lip gloss she's using.
Yeah, I would love the Lindsay Lohan memoir, because that Canyon movie is fucking insane. It's Bret Easton Ellis who wrote American Psycho and
Less Than Zero.
And Less Than Zero, yeah. And this is his like new, modern, exciting movie, and there was so many insane things around it. James Dean, the
porn star,
abusive porn star, was also in it, and Lindsay Lohan like had a lot of meetings with the director where she's like, "Please, you have to have me in this movie. I'll be good. I'll be so good. I'll be on my best behavior." And then as soon as they had filmed enough footage that they couldn't, it would be fiduciarily irresponsible to recast her. Then she off. That's when she was immediately like a psychopath, where it's like,
what?
I guess you could recast me, or you'll just put up with my bullshit forever.
Or you'll strip naked.
Yeah.
She would physically run away from set, like at lunch, like she would play hooky. Like she'd just leave, and they'd be like, "Well, we have to go find her in the city somewhere."
I guess she was making this vlog.
She was making this vlog.
It is sort of disappointing though, because
fonts.
she's clearly trying to be like, "Listen, I know that the only thing you don't just want me to be this sacrificial lamb that you only watch die slowly. Like you have to be interested in like my makeup tips and like if I'm wearing this strappy number and spinning in it." But we just don't, and that I don't know what that says about me.
It's sad. Yeah, I agree.
I want her to get better. I'm ready for
buy your subscription.
Let's all do
$2.99 though.
$2.99 though.
I'm already subscribed to like I'm doing.
I know, man.
Hulu and Netflix, and I have TiVo.
And I use those accounts.
PlayStation.
So
right, you have all my things. Speaking of things, segues are tough. Soren, do you have a pop culture headline for us this week?
Yeah, so a trailer came out, I think it was yesterday, as of filming this, for The Greatest Showman, which is the P.T. Barnum story. And the way that it's presented in the trailer, it's very much like Cinderella Man, but instead of like a guy boxing for his family, this guy gets a bunch of people to pay to see a midget.
Right, so the movie is the life story of P.T. Barnum, who according to the trailer, got laid off from some weird like accounting job.
Yeah.
And then
nebulous
founded the idea of having a circus, and it brought everyone together.
Yes.
And he's P.T. Barnum. And it's
Exactly.
great.
He created the idea of the modern circus, and to his credit, P.T. Barnum kind of did that. But his life is super dark, and he did a lot of really duplicitous things. There's in the trailer you see a dwarf, and he's talking to the dwarf and like trying to convince the dwarf like, no, like we're going to celebrate who you are. That person is General Tom Thumb, who was a 4-year-old when he met him. This is like a weird story. This kid was like the product of some sort of incest because his parents were first cousins, and his name was Charles Sherwood Stratton. And when he was 6 months old, he didn't grow between 6 months old and 4. He didn't grow more than an inch.
Okay.
So he's still like the size of a 6-month-old. And
Okay.
P.T. Barnum found him. And
Because in the I have to jump in because in the trailer, P.T. Barnum talks to a very small person.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would like you to be in my circus. If that person is 4 years old, that's not very exciting at all. Like, all 4-year-olds are small.
Right. And so, but he whisked this child away from the family. And
How did he even know that the child was going to be small long term, though?
Because by the time the kid was 4 and hadn't grown past being a 6-month-old, then he was like, this is something special that humans will pay money to see.
Wow.
And so he took this child and took it on the road, and people did. And he would have this child. He told everyone the kid was 11, which is what I'm about to tell you second. It doesn't make it much better. But he would have the kid drink wine, smoke cigars, and like pretend to be Napoleon Bonaparte and a bunch of different other people, and was just would do like these little shows, these little funny sketches and stuff. And the kid was just so young, and then he toured him around Europe when he was 6. And then it gets worse because as he gets older, he also had another small person in his cast that was this woman named Lavinia Warren, and he made them get married. They didn't even like each other. Made them get married, and then would go and rent babies from local hospitals for live events so that it looked like they had a baby together. Yes, you can do that.
You can rent a baby?
The more you know about like 1863, the more like bananas American history was.
What? That's nothing. You could have done anything. What?
That's insane. It was like, I'd like to rent this baby. Is that safe? I don't know. It's the past. Whatever. Just give it. Look at how dumb our money is. Give me this baby.
Well, it's probably going to die anyways of cholera. So
yeah, one of
might
those
as well
past
rent it out.
diseases that we have now.
And it wasn't like he just landed on the idea of the circus. And this was one of the first things he did. But before even this, the very first thing he did where he was just going to do some sort of exposition of the freaks, like he bought a slave named Joyce Heth in 1835. And this is a woman that she was paralyzed and blind. Paralyzed in every limb except for an arm. Blind. And he would take her around, tour her, and tell everyone she was George Washington's nurse. And yeah.
Oh.
And then, of course, there were the naysayers and the doubters, the doubting Tomei, who were like, I don't think that's true because she'd be 161 years old. And he's like, it's true, it's true. When she dies, and I'm sure she'll die soon, I'll do an autopsy, and you'll all see. And so
You'll see what?
I count the rings inside of her? I don't know. And so she died the next year because he started touring in 1835. 1836, she's dead. And so he charged...
traveling! He killed her!
Yes.
Oh my God.
He charged admission to the autopsy. There were like 1,500 people there, all paid 50 cents to be there, and they watched him cut open this slave. And this is the guy who...
She was old.
So if you watch the trailer, like that's the first thing he did.
Right,
so,
I want to come back to the trailer real quick. I don't... that's not mentioned in the trailer that I saw.
In the trailer, it's like he loses his job, and then he's like down and out with his wife. He's like, I haven't given you the life you deserve yet. And then he's playing with his daughters, and he spins this light thing, and the daughters get excited. He goes, girls, I've had an idea. And I think it's safe to assume the idea is, I'm going to go buy this slave and tell her it's George Washington's nurse, and then I'm going to cut her open.
Girls, I have an idea. Do you guys know any slaves that can keep a secret? Do you guys know any like paralyzed slaves who will like be down with whatever I say? Their thing is.
No.
So he was really big on like the showmanship of everything. So I guess The Greatest Showman is a good apt title for this. But she died. The coroner was like, no, this woman's like no older than 80, and he was like, well then. The real one is actually touring Europe still. This was a fraud. The same thing with the baby. So,
baby? The baby that they rented.
Right. Sorry. Going back to the Tom Thumb and his wife,
Rented
Lavinia.
baby.
the rental baby, yeah. So after that had run its course, where the baby should have started to grow up, he stopped doing that, and everyone was like, "Where's their baby?" And he was like, "It died." And then years later, it was like, "Oh yeah, that was a hoax. Sorry, everyone." And nobody like the attention span. We think ours are bad, but the attention span of people then were just like, "Okay, well, it was a hoax, whatever." Everything else that he's doing is true.
I feel like what we're taking from this is that P.T. Barnum would make an incredible movie. This trailer is not.
No.
This trailer is Hugh Jackman singing and dancing as the Greatest Showman, and like,
Yeah.
I'm
it really
a huge
makes it
fan
look-
of Hugh Jackman singing and dancing. I saw him in Boy from Oz, and he was great.
But they really do work hard to shoehorn in like some inspiration behind. I'm going to take a bearded woman and a wolf man and some Siamese twins and be like, listen, you lived a hard life. You should be recognized rather than like ostracized.
The entire
Yeah.
trailer is like,
They try to,
you are
like,
beautiful,
refix
you're
history.
unique, you're amazing, and none
That's
of it
not
is
it
like,
at all.
I'm going to cut you open and you're dead.
Well, yeah, it's like revisionist history. Like, let's go back and make this look real nice. Also, do watch the trailer because I just watched it, and the song that they play over the trailer.
Very inspiring.
I have not heard a song like that in a trailer since like the year 2000. It's so earnest and just like
Pre 9/11, Dan.
Got it. 4/9/11.
Yeah.
Got it. Is this movie a musical? Is that clear? In
Yes.
the, it is?
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I see a little bit of singing and dancing.
Because there are some people who were like the bearded woman started singing along to this pre 9/11 song that you
I think that
at one
it's
point.
built sort of like Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
It should have been Moulin Rouge.
Or
I
the-
think it was. I think they should have just made Moulin Rouge and then just
They
make
did.
a movie about Hugh Jackman. We don't need the. If we wanted a showman, just make one about Hugh Jackman and his life.
So you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Maggie, you think
ahead.
your criticism with this
defend it.
movie is that they should have made a Moulin Rouge, which they did, and they should make movies about Hugh Jackman. Okay,
Yeah, stand by it. That's fine.
that's a crazy movie. Soren, do you have any other headlines for us this
Yeah.
week?
Yeah.
I brought nothing this week because I'm sleeping.
You brought these new chairs.
Yeah, I brought these new f***ing chairs.
I'm bummed that you can't swivel anymore.
I know. We used to be able to like go side to side.
I mean,
Now
you
we
can
have
do that, but you look so weird.
to- Oh, and there's a noise
What you're not
too.
supposed to do. Yeah, I got another headline that I want to talk about. There's KFC has been planning to launch a chicken sandwich into space for a while. Today, as we're shooting this, is the day that they're launching it into space.
Okay. Before we get into that, I have more thoughts about KFC than I have about almost
Yeah, that's what I
any
want to get
fast
into.
food brand. KFC used to stand for Kentucky Fried Chicken, and like 8 years ago, I don't know if you remember this, they just decided it doesn't stand for anything now. We're just called KFC, and like we ignore what it stands for.
Oh.
That's one of the
They also
silliest things about them.
remodeled Colonel Sanders. They took Colonel Sanders from the white suit that he used to wear, and they put him in an apron, a red apron instead. And they tried to make him look more like a foodie than a slave owner.
Yes, than
a plantation owner.
Confederate
They've
general.
also, in the last 24 months, have gone through, I think, 5 different
Now it's
Colonel
Rob
Sanders.
Lowe?
It's not Rob Lowe anymore. We've in fact moved on from Rob Lowe to George Hamilton.
What? That
Yeah,
was
so we've had
fast.
Daryl Hammond, Norm Macdonald,
Mm-hmm.
maybe John Goodman, Rob Lowe, Jim Gaffigan, and now George Hamilton. And
Billy Zane was one. Billy Zane was
Billy Zane was a
Billy
KFC.
Zane.
Yeah, he was the golden Georgia chicken one. And then the crispy one is that guy.
That's George
tan
Hamilton.
guy?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
Okay. They've gone through so many different spokesmen, and like it's not part of a concerted effort.
That's what's frustrating.
Like that's what's crazy. If they had just decided like, hey, this is our new bit, we're doing a different Colonel Sanders
Yeah.
every 2 months, that's fine. But like Daryl Hammond, when he took on the role, interviewed people who were literally related to Colonel Sanders and wanted to know about the guy so he can like accurately portray him.
That's a bad idea.
And then I know. And
Real
then
bad idea.
they canned him after 2 months. Like the campaign was over. He was like, I spent all this fucking time researching Colonel Sanders, who was borderline fictional. But Daryl Hammond like put the work in. They're like, no, we don't care. Now it's Norm Macdonald, and after that, it's going to be
That's not much of a
Tracy
step up
Morgan.
anyway.
Who
I've
knows?
been waiting for KFC's punchline to them shifting through these great comedians so fast that like us always pretending, oh, it's just the same guy throughout all of them. I figured there's got to be some comeuppance for this, like that
Nope.
they're planning something.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have it, and instead they're like, and now we're going to put one in space.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, God damn it. It's like, this is my Lost.
Yeah, well,
Right. I've been following these commercials for so long, and it's never going to pay off. And the craziest thing is that's not even what you wanted to talk about when you brought up KFC today.
Yeah.
The backstory is it hurts a lot for KFC, but then also the fact that they're launching this sandwich into space is dumb.
How are they doing it? What?
I think they built a little rocket for it, from what I understand.
I love it already. I think I love it. A tiny little rocket for a KFC to shoot into space. Keep going. I think I like it.
A tiny little rocket for a KFC.
Yeah.
For a KFC. It's not. They're not launching like a little restaurant up there. There's just a little sandwich.
Right. I'll think what I want to think.
And so they're just launching into the stratosphere too. It's not like it's Voyager, where like it's going to go live out in space, like after the sun eats us all. Like this is just going up to the stratosphere until it runs out of like steam, and then it will fall back down to Earth. And it's
just like a child's rocket with a parachute. I
think they have a camera in it. No, I mean it'll go up and it'll like float up there for a while, but eventually the trajectory will bring it back down to Earth.
Right.
But it's the dumbest campaign because there's no point to it other than like someone hyperbolically in an ad meeting being like, "What if we launch one into space?" And like
But he
being
said it
silly
like
about
that
it.
too, and I bet he was 25 years old and just got the job.
Right, and so we've lost track.
What if Zendaya was the colonel and we sent a fucking sandwich into space?
We've lost track of like when we're being ironic and then when we're being serious, and so like people just follow through on this irony that's so dumb. I think you can think of like 5 better places to launch a chicken sandwich than space off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. The bottom of the sea. We know less about the bottom of the sea than we do about space, and there's probably some animals down there we could feed a
would
chicken
get
sandwich
soggy.
to.
Soggy chicken, counter argument.
Let's yeah, all right.
Sure.
We could let's elect one to legislation. Like if you can get a cat to be mayor of a
Right.
town, then let's do that with a chicken sandwich. Put your campaign money behind that. Wait, you could send one to those tribes, as long as we're being super reckless, send one to those tribes in the Amazon who no one has had contact with for centuries, and just drop it there.
That's pretty funny.
Like, there's so many cool... that's only 3.
3 is fine.
It's
3,
it's the
that's
same thing
more
that
than I
happened.
expected.
The Starbucks unicorn drinks. Like that was just like some guy sitting in a room like, what if? No way would we? And then they did, and here we are.
It's bizarre. I don't understand the trend of fast food chains and places like Starbucks where they need to do some weird viral stunt to get you excited about their dumb fucking thing. Like KFC, people are still going there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's chicken built on the backs of slaves. If that didn't deter people, then nothing will. You're fine.
Right.
You don't need Rob Lowe. You don't need NASA. You don't need any
you're
of
not
these
going to
things.
see you're not going to see a KFC viral stunt and be like, KFC, huh? I've never heard of that. Well, maybe I'll try it out. Like, you already know what KFC is.
Right.
Everybody knows what KFC... You're fine, KFC.
Right. Oh, it's in space now? I guess I do want a sandwich where the bread is also chicken.
So there's another demoralizing thing from history of KFC's advertising that I should bring up, because they have a section of their advertising, I think that's called space-vertising. It's a whole wing, and they... years ago, I think it was 2008.
Which camera Abe, where can I be the maddest at? Which camera can I show my disdain to?
All
of them? Okay, good.
All of them.
In Nevada, they created an ad, just a picture of Colonel Sanders that could be seen from space. It's so big that it can be seen from space. And so if you look at Google Maps, you can go find it in Nevada. And it's a real bummer. And it doesn't...
If you ever really want to be sad.
It looks like a Photoshop. Like, it's not just like he's carved out of a wheat field. Like, it's red and white, and it looks completely unnatural on the landscape, and it looks like somebody just slapped a sticker on the desert.
That's a huge bummer. I hate that. I have to hand in my nerd card right now because I don't care about space. I know
you don't.
everyone's
I love
mad
space.
about that, but I don't like NASA. I don't like space. Don't like any of those things. But knowing that KFC is sending one of their fucking garbage chicken sandwiches into space, now I feel like I need a GoFundMe that is like, just in case aliens find this sandwich, I gotta tell them that this isn't what we're like. Like
We should take a moment to say this episode is sponsored by KFC.
KFC, it's chicken for your
Lickin'.
Yep, that's the one. Chicken for your licking. Oh.
I hope that is never the tagline for KFC.
But they have done this weird advertisements toward aliens, and I don't.
Space advertisement.
Yeah, I don't
What
like
do they
that.
know that we don't know? I think it's the question.
I don't want the aliens to think that KFC represents any of us. Like
Right.
even, I've never been to Kentucky, but I hold it in higher regard than I do KFC. And I don't even want that to be associated with each other.
I'm like you. I love space, and like the idea of the Voyager. I know a lot. Like the whole story of Carl Sagan, what they decided to put on Voyager is so cool and neat, and like the best
really
of humanity.
Which,
and then the other thing we're sending out into space is a fucking chicken sandwich.
Here's babies crying, birds flying,
Yeah.
and this garbage.
Right.
Here's jazz. We invented jazz. And also, like, I don't know. I think this is mostly mashed potatoes and biscuits and some chicken parts, but you can have it if you want. It's spicy. Well, that's the week in headlines. Let's get into our main story this week.
Wow.
Shoot.
Gee, wow.
But I've asked you guys to do something different this time around and come up with your 10 best comedic performances of all time. We have not discussed these previously. Hopefully, we all have the exact same 10.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
And
It'd
we
be a
just
real
sit
problem.
here
I'm
agreeing with each
leaving
other.
if we don't.
I'm sure we won't, and we'll each go one by one with our top 10 best comedic performances, and we'll find where we do line up, and that will be like the group of like 3 or 4, I assume.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then we'll argue about the ones that we don't agree on.
All right.
I got a bunch of white guys.
Yeah.
bunch of white
Yeah.
guys.
It's a real problem.
My problem with assembling my list, I started last week, and I went through and was like, oh, this is mostly straight white guys. That can't be great. Man, there aren't a lot of good roles for funny women.
Yeah.
And I talked to women that I worked with, and they listed like 19 great roles. And I was like,
Mostly, dude.
oh, okay, the problem is that I don't watch a lot of movies starring women. That's the problem. It's not that they aren't
You
out there.
definitely are valid because a lot of the people I have, there are like females in the movie, but they're the wife being like, why would you go do that thing?
Yeah.
Or like, oh boy, it's
Yeah.
so funny the way that you do that horrible thing.
Yeah.
That's a decade of Andy McDowell is what you just did.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Just like disapproving of some hilarious man doing
Oh,
something.
boy.
It's just her entirety in multiplicity.
Are there 4 of you now? I don't approve, but I still respect you. I'm going to go with my first one,
Yeah.
and none of this is in any particular order.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
But the first one that came to my brain was there's a short list of about 5 men that I would have sex with. And Kevin Kline is definitely on that list. And I have Kevin Kline in A Fish Called Wanda is my favorite comedy performance of all time.
What does you having sex with him have to do with that?
Everything.
I guess nothing. I guess I want it clear in case he's watching that I really respect him comedically.
Yeah, that seems like something
And
you just
also I
needed
have
to
sex
say.
with him if he was down with it.
Pete Holmes, we were talking about him earlier, but Pete Holmes is a great bit about Ryan Gosling where he's like, listen, I like him. I don't want to have sex with him. That's not enough. That's only part of me. I want to be all the way up inside of him. I want to exist inside of him.
I think I bring it up because I love Kevin Kline in everything. I don't think he's ever turned in a bad performance.
Yeah.
It was the toughest thing was deciding between Fish Called Wanda and In and Out French Kiss, Pirates of Penzance, which technically counts as a movie because they filmed the musical during them. They put it in a movie. But he's great in all
He's
of
good
them.
in the Big Chill.
He's great in Big Chill. But Fish Called Wanda is still my
Yeah, he's a great
Kevin
dummy
Kline. Yeah,
in that movie.
yeah.
He
He
plays
got an Oscar for that, and it's rare for anyone to get an Academy Award for a comedy thing,
That's
and
true.
he did it. Did either of you have him on your list?
He's glaringly
Nope.
absent from that.
Nope.
But you're
That'll be a
gonna
future
have
fight.
those ones that are like that got you into comedy, that made you excited about it, and you're not always going to share those with anybody.
Right.
Those are always going to be rare ones. I think I have one that will be on most people's list, though. I've got Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. Is that on anybody else's list?
No.
I have Bill Murray and Scrooged.
I thought about Scrooge.
And I also fought myself about that, because I know I need Bill Murray on there, but I am very strict about the rules that I invent on the fly.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, what is he a very funny person generally, or is this a soup to nuts, perfect funny performance.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's had...
Difficult.
It's really difficult.
is
Like,
difficult
I
to
laugh at him
separate.
every time I see him. I think he's great all the time.
I think that if you took Groundhog Day and you just read the script and you just could see the lines that he has, even if it's like verbatim of what he actually does, the improv's included, you would be like, this character is an asshole. I can't relate to this character at all. But when he performs it, it just changes.
Yeah.
Like, he's so funny and good and charming that you're on his side, even though he's just an unrepentant throughout most of the movie.
There are so many things he does in Groundhog Day and Scrooged and Ghostbusters that I don't even know why they're funny. Like, I can't even learn from them. There's, in Groundhog Day like 9 or whatever, when Ned Ryerson is like, Phil? And he goes, Ned? And punches him.
Yeah.
Like, just the delivery of Ned and his delivery in Scrooged when he talks about being adored on television, and we'll have a clip of it, but he just goes, adored! Adored! And that's the kind of thing that, like, I watch that and I'm like, yep, there's nothing, I can't imitate that. I can't learn from that. You're somehow, like, perfectly funny.
I think that's why he sticks with us, because there are going to be a lot of movies glaringly absent from our list. There are going to be like, obviously the Buster Keaton and stuff like that. I don't know that I don't have any black and white on here, but but I do, and I
don't have anything not white on here.
Oh,
and I don't have.
All right,
I don't
got
have
a
like
good one.
Ace Ventura's not on here. Wayne's World's not on here. Like these movies
love
that
Ace
were
Ventura.
that were seminal and like these big comedies that everybody loved, but because they become so much a part of our culture that it's almost painful to watch those movies now. Like they're torturous because those jokes are so well worn.
Yeah.
But Bill Murray, like that can't become part of your culture because no one else can do what he's doing.
No.
That's true.
Do you have any Bill Murray at all on yours?
I don't have Bill Murray. I also put mine in order of my least favorite to my most favorite. So should I go in order, I guess?
Start with your most favorite, because I went hard with Kevin Kline.
All right, my most favorite. Okay, Terry Jones in Monty Python and Quest for Holy Grail. He plays the prince. But I don't want to be a prince.
Boop. Yeah. Okay.
It's a smaller role for sure, and I love that movie. And it was hard to pick which character really spoke to me, but I think that was the first time I was watching a movie and just seeing a character that so did not fit in that movie, but so did.
Yeah.
He's so weird. His voice all like me, no. He's like writing those little love letters out the window.
That's such a surprising choice, even for like the cast of Python. Like, Terry Jones is not one that jumps out to people. Like this could have been 10 John Cleese roles and Kevin Kline from Fish Called Wanda. But yeah, Terry Jones is...
He's that movie in particular, I think he just shines. In that scene, I think I would just rewind it and watch it over and over. And his physical comedy is so on point in that movie, so...
Yeah. I don't have any Monty Python on my list.
I don't either. And like Holy Grail was my sleepover movie. Boys have sleepovers. Growing up and
what did you guys talk about at sleepovers?
Girls. We played Truth or Dare and like dared each other to ask out girls, and then we never did.
That's what we did too.
It's
All
fine.
right.
And
we would dunk basketballs for girls. Like we dedicate a dunk to a girl on a Nerf basketball hoop.
Really?
I would, yeah.
What? That's
just talking about girls and dunking and drinking a lot of Surge and watching Monty Python and Happy Gilmore. Like those were things that we did.
Adam Sandler, also not on my list.
Not on my list.
Not
either.
on my list
I don't think he's
either.
had like a great performance. My next person on my list, I think when I started this, I wanted to get surprising people. Like Kevin Kline is not immediately thought of as a comedy actor. And I'm really proud of, I had Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice, which I think is like such a fucking standout, incredible performance. And it's there's a voice and there's a physicality to it. And every second that he's on screen, he's hilarious in that movie.
Yeah,
that's a good
or
pick.
or
I didn't have that.
I didn't either. I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right. That's a really funny role.
So now I'm worried that we're not going to have anyone that
We might have some.
lines
We might
up.
have some. I got. This is kind of a big one.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase, National Lampoon Vacation.
Don't have them.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of like culture that usurps somebody's comedy, and like it just doesn't work anymore. Chevy Chase was. I feel like I just missed the boat on him because I watched Fletch maybe too late, or I watched Lampoon too late, and I just have never found Chevy Chase funny. I know it's gonna rile a lot of people up.
Fletch is great. Fletch
Yeah.
Fletch
I
almost
really
made
didn't like
the
it.
list.
I think he's less funny and more that he invests so much in scenes that it is funny. Like, to me, like that moment when they get to Wally World and it is clearly closed. And there's just like manic father of like, no, this is gonna be great, is just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But didn't make anyone else's list.
No.
What was the first woman on your list?
Reese Witherspoon in Election.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh,
Got it?
Yeah. Okay. Would you both have it?
We both have it, yeah.
I do not
Yeah,
have
match.
it. You guys got a match. All right.
Yeah.
Point. Point over here.
I think she's great in everything. I couldn't decide between that and Legally Blonde, which I thought was a better
that should be
comedic
on my
performance.
list.
But she's great in everything.
What's surprising to me in Election is it's not even just her like physical performance. Seeing her, the narration of her just gets me so much.
Yeah.
The cadence and everything, and you're just like coming unhinged is so wonderful.
Election is a perfect movie. You didn't have any Reese Witherspoon at all?
I did not, although I think retroactively I probably would have put her and Legally Blonde on this list. I do have Rebel Wilson and Bridesmaids.
As the sister, you've got a lot of like small roles.
I
on
do,
that list.
yeah, because I think
She is really good in that.
smaller roles they get more
She's
freedom.
so
in
small in
films.
that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's so funny. The way the scene of her describing like, well, I did not know that it was your diary. I thought it was just a sad book on the
She's
floor.
super dry in that movie, and she's
so
very funny.
dry and slow, and there's no reason for that character to even be in this movie.
Right.
No good reason.
It's her and Matt Lucas as like weird
Yeah.
New Zealand or Australian
Roommates?
twins slash roommates
They're English
that,
in
that
it.
clearly
Yeah.
love each other.
Yeah, I don't have her. Wait, you guys might have this on yours. Frances McDormand in Fargo.
As a comedy performance?
Yes, it's so funny. Her being on the scene when there's like at the horrific accident, like got another dead fellow over here, and like her just dry delivery of everything and being completely unaffected by the things that are happening around her and staying so pure. I think it's real. She just strikes me as very, very funny in that movie. That's a comedy, though.
Yeah.
I know.
And that
Fargo
is
is
hard to
not a
pull
comedy.
off.
Sure it is. Yeah, it's a dark comedy.
You could make an argument for either side.
Yeah, so that fella in the wood chipper was your friend?
There are funny lines in it. Like if you're going Coen Brothers route, I really
Yeah.
thought I was going to link up with you on this. I had Holly Hunter from Raising Arizona on my list.
Yeah, that's a good one.
She's
I love
very
him so much.
she's so funny. She's so dumb, and it's so
Yeah.
great.
That is a really good one. And she's a very big personality in that movie, even though she's so tiny. I agree. That's a good one, but I didn't
Yeah.
put it on my list. I do have another Coen Brothers on here, though.
Oh.
Okay.
I've got John Goodman from The Big Lebowski.
Oh. Yes. Yes.
I mean, just because I was drinking doesn't mean that everyone needs to be silent.
Oh, no. I was trying to think, like, yeah.
He's
I don't know.
Wonderful.
Great.
Walter
Yeah.
He's
is
so
such a great character.
he's so thoroughly committed to his part too.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
like every second that he's there, he's constantly at 11. His intensity is so high. He's ready to snap at any moment.
Just like barely civil with everyone around him.
Barely so.
Yeah, that's nobody else got any John Goodman? No.
Who's
boy.
next
No.
on your?
Wow,
on
we do
yours?
not
like
have
him.
similar lists.
No, we
here.
don't.
Dang, guys.
What about Christopher Guest? Does anybody have him?
Ooh.
I've got him from
no.
Spinal Tap. Oh boy, on my
No,
list.
but I do love him, and I do love that movie.
Yeah,
And for a long time, I was like, should I put Spinal Tap? Who would I pick? But
Yeah.
I
Decided no one.
Him in
Decided
particular.
neither or none.
He's just so dumb in Spinal. Like I
Yeah.
love. Every time that he talks on screen, I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
because he's such a dummy, earnestly dumb. Yeah.
What's next for you, Maggie?
Well, okay, I have Dave Chappelle from Men in Tights.
I've never seen Men in Tights.
You
I know everything about it. I know there's like a silhouette and his sword comes up.
Oh.
And is that everything?
That's it. This is, I can't. No,
gosh.
wow.
Yeah,
You
sorry.
should see that. It's very
Okay.
good.
It is very good.
You think it'll hold up?
Yeah.
Oh, it holds up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just watched it. Dave Chappelle is so great. That scene where they get to he's trying to cross like this bridge. And Dave Chappelle is like, you can just walk. I'm on the left bank. I'm on the right bank. It's
There's a tiny
little
bridge. It's really
stream.
great. There's little John who's like, you can't cross this bridge until you pay the toll. And Dave Chappelle was like, it's a creek. Just
do it. Yeah.
Just walk.
Oh, that's a treat.
He's so great.
Does anyone have Marissa Tomei from My Cousin Vinny?
No.
No.
That's a great role, though. Yeah. She's very funny in that.
I've never seen My Cousin Vinny. Is the one I have.
That's
Why are we even doing this?
I don't know.
Maybe we should have
everybody's gonna
talked
have-
about this
Yes, I don't
before.
know.
Everybody's going to have their blind spots. Just so happens that they happen to be on all of our lists. Everybody else's blind spots. That's a great role. She is, that's another one where on paper, I don't like that part.
Right.
But like her doing it, it just seems so two-dimensional until she does it. And then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, she's wonderful.
She's what the movie's about all of a sudden. It has,
Yeah.
like, because the movie bills itself as like, wouldn't it be crazy if this, like, New York Italian Joe Pesci type was a lawyer? Isn't that like a fun fish out of water story? And sure, that could hang for most movies, but then you watch it, it's like, oh, f all that. It's Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
She's the story. This is who I care about.
Yeah.
But you guys didn't even.
I know.
Sorry.
I had Rosie Perez in White Man Can't Jump, and also like the entire cast of White Man Can't Jump because that movie is perfect.
It is. I will say, like, Wesley Snipes, hilarious in that movie.
Yeah.
And, like, who I sort of tried to emulate as a child.
Uh-oh.
Not that specific. Just in, like, that level of swagger and confidence. As a
Okay,
kid, I was,
all
like, latched onto that, and I was like, okay, a bike hat, I can do that. Like, those little hat with the little folded brim.
Yeah.
And he was just so cool in it, and also very, very funny, and had all these great lines. I thought for sure I could pull that off. It never got awkward.
Yeah. Well, look at who you became.
I know, Wesley Snipes.
Nothing. I don't like that.
I do have a Bridesmaids person on my
Okay.
list. I have Melissa McCarthy from Bridesmaids on
She
mine.
is the other great
Who-
standout in that
I'd
film.
never watched her sitcom before that movie. I'd never seen her in anything before that movie.
You didn't see her at Suki and Gilmore Girls? You didn't watch Gilmore Girls?
You didn't watch Gilmore Girls until like a year ago. And she just steals that movie. She's
she
wonderful.
does.
And she's like all these weird little choices. Like she wears a wrist brace throughout
Yeah.
some of it
Yeah,
for
for
no
no
reason.
And she's like definitely like why she sticks out for me in that movie is that she's definitely a character. She's a part. Like it's a lot of people are just it's clearly an improv heavy movie, so they're just like going for jokes all the time. And she showed up as like, this is my character, and here are the rules of my character, and I'm going to stick to all of them all the time. And it was a character that I hadn't seen before, and I was just so excited by her.
Right.
Yeah.
And me, a long-time Gilmore Girls head, seeing her branching out this way was
Gilmore
very
Girls
exciting.
truther. I've known it all along. Okay, so this is, I think, my favorite character and performance of all time in any movie. And I know that's setting it up very largely, but
I mean, I said you should start with your favorite.
that's true.
You
Okay,
obviously
okay.
didn't.
But this is like near and dear to my heart. Steve Coogan in Hamlet 2. Did you guys watch that movie?
I haven't
I
seen
saw
Hamlet
Hamlet too.
Oh,
It was
right.
Very, very good. There's
But I like Alan Partridge an awful lot. I almost put that on my list.
There's
Okay, yeah, it's
a scene of no, I'm not going to give anyone any context for the movie at all. I think he's a theater director.
he's a theater teacher.
who wrote a sequel to Hamlet that's also a musical. Skylar Astin from Pitch Perfect, our favorite movie. He's in it. There's a scene where Steve Coogan is writing this musical, and it's like a montage of him having trouble writing it, and they have him staring at a cat, and he says, "What is your fucking deal?" And I think about it all the time. It's one of the best moments
Deal.
I've ever seen.
It is so great. My favorite moment that just like taps into the character is when he starts like silently sobbing about like him being a young boy who just wants to act but he can't do it very well. And it's just like so much emotion behind this. Such a sad character. I love it.
Maggie, have you not lined up with anyone on anything yet?
Other
I
than
don't
Bridesmaids,
think
that's the
so.
closest we came.
Yeah, Bridesmaids.
So my full list.
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
we didn't dig into
Okay.
all of them. Kevin Kline, Michael Keaton, George C. Scott and Dr. Strangelove, Meg Ryan, Holly Hunter, Reese,
Wait, what? Meg Ryan and what?
French Kiss.
Okay.
Watch French Kiss. It's great. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Reese in Election, Bill Murray in Scrooge, Rosie Perez, White Man Can't Jump, Marissa Tomei, Cousin Vinny, Gene Wilder, Blazing Saddles. None of those for you.
Meg Ryan and French Kiss.
no.
Does she have like a great comedic performance in that?
Yes, she's so good. And like Kevin Kline, whom I love,
Yeah.
he's also great in it. And it's just like a really charming, fun movie. But she runs the table. She is so good in everything that she does. And she's like quirky and weird and gross and funny and smart. And it's terrific.
We should put I'm realizing now we should put a time code in here for when we actually read our lists. Like when we
Oh,
get the
that's
video
a
up, like
good idea.
go to this time code. This is when we actually do the list.
Right.
Mine are.
I gave my 10 and we lined up once.
Once.
And that's
it.
I don't have any other ones here for you. I've got Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, John Goodman in Big Lebowski, Nick Cage in Vampire's Kiss.
Oh,
That was
what?
one-
Get the out of here.
Oh no! Watch. Have you seen Vampire's Kiss?
No, I don't even know. I'm looking for something to make you go away. I don't know why I'm looking around right now.
Watch
I'm just so unhappy.
Watch Vampire's Kiss. This is one of those movies where, like your Kevin Kline, where I was like, I want to do comedy. Where like he's just like he's.
You want to fuck him? You want to fuck?
I want to
Nick
be
Cage?
inside of him.
Is that- okay.
Yeah.
He's got he like does a voice that he just like made up, and he's slowly thinks he's becoming a vampire, and he's just like trying shit in that movie, and he's so funny. He's wonderful.
Wow.
We'll watch it. We'll do one of our boys' nights, and we'll watch it.
Hashtag Hot Blue Boys.
Hot Blue Boys. Check out the Hot Blue Boys on Twitter.
All right, but don't prank us next time.
I've got Nick Frost in Hot Fuzz,
Okay.
Christopher
great
Guest
one.
in Spinal Tap, Reese Witherspoon in Election, Melissa McCarthy Bridesmaids, Frances McDormand in Fargo, Christopher Lloyd in The Addams Family,
Oh,
Ooh,
okay. All
that's a good
right,
one.
all right, all right.
and I've got Chris Tucker in Fifth Element, and maybe also Friday. I couldn't decide between the two of them. I think maybe Fifth Element because he's just every single time he's on screen, he's so
Pretty great,
engaging and
Fifth
fun.
Yeah.
What's your full list, Maggie?
All right. Okay. Rocket Man, Harlan Williams.
Go on.
All right. I needed to gauge the reaction.
I want to get this whatever weird thing that I think is over there that will make Soren go away. I need two of them to make
All
Maggie
right.
go away.
He's,
Rocket Man, Harlan.
He's that scene when he paints the food.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
No, you never seen Rocket Man?
No.
Oh, good.
I think of The Rocketeer. I've seen The Rocketeer.
No.
Rocketeer's
no,
great.
no.
Jennifer Connelly,
Oh,
Timothy Dalton.
You can't get any better.
Goodness
No.
gracious.
No.
The guy who was the Rocketeer.
All right. Okay, I'll peek in the window of boys' night. I'll make you watch Rocket Man. It's great. This one I think is a cheat. Okay, Muppet Treasure Island, Kermit, voiced by Steve Whitmire. So,
I don't
it's a
believe that
puppet.
one. Yeah.
But it's a comedic performance.
I'm deciding. Did you take this too seriously or not seriously enough? I know in
Are
my
your
gut
choices
that
legitimate?
you did it wrong. That you're not. You came here not correct.
Although, am I correct though? That moment where it's like, "Who hurt this crew?" is the funniest. All right. Okay. I can see where it stands. Okay. Rowan Atkins in Rat Race. He plays narcoleptic.
Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, Rowan Atkinson. That's what I said.
The Rowan Atkins diet. Fame. In Rat Race. Okay.
So great. He doesn't. He's so funny. He hardly says a word. It's amazing. John Heder, Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay.
Oh my God, Dan, I can't look at you.
No.
You're like my disappointed uncle. Okay. Zach Galifianakis is The
I feel
Hangover.
like I read younger than Uncle, like on camera.
You are an uncle.
I know I'm literally an uncle, but I'm like what I play as. I think I could scan for like a cool cousin.
All right, you look like my
Poochie type.
Cool cousin who
cool
comes from
cousin
New York.
who's
Yeah.
disappointed.
Yeah.
Wrecks the president's car. my show takes place in Washington.
But go on. I've never disagreed with anyone more passionately about their taste.
All right. I think I read the rest. Steve Coogan, Hamlet 2, Rebel Wilson, Bridesmaids, Dave Chappelle, Men in Tights, Chevy Chase, Vacation, and Terry Jones. Monty Python.
Wow, what a dark horse list you've created.
I realized I made it.
I almost had. I wanted to have a whiteboard here where we would put like, here are the 3 or 4 that we definitely agree on because it was a commonality on all
We'll
lists.
do it in post. Here
No,
are
but there's
the
none.
3.
There's none. Stop it. There's none. We didn't. There's one that 2 of us agreed on, and
Yeah.
the rest doesn't count because Maggie's super wrong.
Yeah, Maggie. I don't want to say you ruined this, but
But I
don't know how else to
admit
say it.
it's out. I admit it's out there, and like when I was doing it, I kind of knew. But these are ones that you're either, a lot of them are nostalgic, but to me, like, still hold up.
Yeah.
The one, Rocket Man, it was one of the first comedies I think I ever watched.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's what movies could be.
Is that what got you into comedy? Like, is there a performance that you saw, like Me with Bill Murray and Soren with Frances McDormand, where you're like, I want to do that?
Yeah, I mean...
It was Rocket Man?
It was either Rocket Man or it was Monty Python Quest for the Holy Grail, the whole film in general.
I like thinking of Maggie making her list and being like, Waka Waka.
He's so good.
Is Kermit technically a person? He's not, but I don't care.
He's so
And not
good.
even like peak Kermit, not even Jim Henson Kermit, just some other fucking guy.
Not even
Kermit.
Christmas Carol Kermit.
That is the best Muppets movie. When they're doing the roll call.
Muppet Treasure Island?
Yes!
Oh, with a baby-faced O'Brien? There's no Brian in that movie.
Babyface O'Brien?
Yeah.
Old Tom. Will Tom.
Who hired this crew?
You're still... yeah, wrong. But that's our main story this week. And now it's time to get into questions from commenters. And we don't have too many, because I forgot to collect them.
Oh, that's better than just not getting any.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
First
we got a ton.
I would like to remind people, just to get some slack off me, that he hasn't seen Men in Tights.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
do
that's
wanna
horse.
remind
Like
It's a
that's
real
insane
problem.
that you haven't seen Men in
Everyone.
Tights. 'Cause
I'll
it's
watch Men in Tights. You all watch Submarine. It's a great movie.
Summary. Not the vampire one?
we need to. So what are our assignments? You need to watch Men in Tights. I
Yeah.
need to watch Rocket Man. Is that what
Yeah.
I need to fucking do?
And Vampire's Kiss. You watch Vampire's Kiss. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And then we'll
reconvene.
we'll do a book club sort of thing.
But here are our questions. At Collingwood Phil says, what franchise has felt the most underwhelming? Not necessarily the worst, but the one that failed to live up to its potential.
Maze Runner.
Oh. You're probably right. Even though you
I know. I
what
mean, who
he's
could say?
doing.
I just feel like that's right.
DC movie universe.
I think
besides
DC
Wonder Woman.
movie universe. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think X-Men First Class, despite having
Yeah.
Fassbender and McAvoy, who are like perfect together, and they should do lots of Magneto and Xavier movies forever. It was like still a very bad movie. You had all the
Yeah.
money in the world. You had multiple Academy Award nominees and future winners in your movie about superheroes, and you're set in the 60s or 70s and whatever, and you could do whatever you want. And it was just so middle of the road and so uninspiring.
That's a really good one. Yeah. I think, DC.
I prepare because I have the questions.
I think I agree
That
with
is a
you.
good one. Yeah. Yeah.
The DC universe has been
So much
really
potential.
such a bummer.
Yeah. This is a name I can't pronounce. It is at LXZXBYTH. So it's like, it's vaguely Elizabeth.
Okay.
What is the place of podcasts in pop culture? I don't
Oh.
have a good answer for that.
Oh, really? Well, I listen to a lot of murder podcasts. That's all I have to say about that.
It's like I feel like it's holding a mirror up to pop culture.
I'm trying to figure out if they've replaced anything or if they're a new thing.
I guess it's replaced radio. Did it bring back radio? Did we not have it, and then we lost it, and now we have it again?
It's only I think it's really cool in the fact that it's at least long form again. That people are interested in
Yeah,
something long form, and
that's
something long
very
form can take
true.
off.
Yeah.
Because everything seemed to be moving towards shorter.
And it's week by week, which now a lot of shows you binge. So that is something that like keeps you waiting every week, and it's kind of most episodes are formulaic, so it's a return to like the ER or like Grey's Anatomy, where it's going to be the same every episode.
But I'd call it a mirror only because the rest of pop culture seems unaware of it. Like it comments on pop culture constantly, but pop culture never returns the favor.
Yeah.
Like like movies, television, all the mediums, like they're never talking about the podcast.
Yeah. I saw a play recently at the Hollywood Fringe called Podcast, which was about podcasts. So I think we're just now starting to like grapple with what we can say about podcasts and what they say about us.
What are the patterns we can isolate of podcasts? Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of good jokes just from like on Twitter and stuff about I'm starting a podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, culturally we haven't even gotten to. We're barely to the part where a woman's job in a rom-com can be blogger.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Certainly not a podcast.
All right. Well, that was kind of a weird question to end on. But thanks again for joining me, guys. Maggie, can anyone find you on Twitter anywhere?
Yeah, you can find me at Maggie May Fish, May with an E. Not a Y.
And Soren?
Yeah, you can write to me at Soren, SOREN_LTD. I'm realizing, though, that on Twitter, I don't ever see notifications for some reason. Like, they, hide, 50 out of 100 notifications that I get. And, I even recently got a notification from Chelsea Clinton because I tweeted at her, and I didn't get to see it until, 2 days later when somebody else had liked it. And I was like, what the
Okay, well, I'm Dan. You can find me at DOB_INC. And if you happen to be the daughter of a president and you're trying to get a hold of Soren, I see most of my notifications, so go through me, and I'll make sure that word gets back to him. And
That's nice.
that's about it. The show is.
This one's for you, Chelsea.
I like that your dunk is this.
Hey, thanks for watching that. Make sure you click the big C in the middle to subscribe. Also, Soren and I did a mini-series podcast called Looking the Part. It's about hair and shaving and faces and bodies in movies, and we're really excited about it. We'll put a link in the description below. Check it out. We really like you.
Convincing.